She never arrives alone. Her gestures, her eyes, the way she touches her hair or looks away, all of it carries silent codes that only a few people can read. And as Machiavelli would say, whoever understands these signals controls the game. Today, you're going to discover the most subtle and most dangerous movements that reveal what she really thinks, feels, and desires. Get ready, because after this, you'll never look at a woman the same way again. There's something most men never notice. Before a woman says a single word, before she shows interest, rejection, desire, or disgust, her body has already said everything. Female body language is a silent language, full of hidden intentions, calculated ambiguity, and tiny clues that reveal more than any sentence ever could. But this language is not available to everyone. Machiavelli would say, those who understand what is hidden rule over those who believe only what is spoken. In the emotional world of women, what is hidden is the real map of power. Understanding the body before the words is like reading secret reports before negotiating with a prince. The first Machiavellian rule is simple. Don't believe what she says. Watch what she does. Many women are taught from a young age to soften their words, control their reactions, and hide their feelings so they don't seem weak, desperate, or too easy. But the body betrays the truth. The body reveals what the mind tries to hide. When you understand these signals, you start seeing beyond normal social behavior, and you touch the truth she doesn't dare to admit. Not to you, and not even to herself. One of the first movements Machiavelli would notice is the subtle lean of the body. When a woman slightly leans toward you, she's not just listening, she's allowing you to come closer. It's a silent permission, a quiet, you can continue, even if she doesn't say it out loud because of strategy, shyness, or the game. But when a woman keeps her upper body leaning away, even if she's smiling and talking, she's saying the opposite. Approach carefully. You haven't earned access to my inner world yet. Most men make the mistake of confusing a smile with interest, but a woman's smile is one of the most flexible social tools in existence. It can mean friendliness, politeness, strategic charm, or even defense. But the body lean, that one doesn't lie. Another key Machiavellian signal is the eyes. Women do not hold eye contact by accident. There are three main types of looks that reveal deep truths. The first is the quick, repeated glance. She looks at you, looks away, then looks again. This shows interest, but it also means she wants you to make the first move. It's like she's saying, prove your value before I reveal mine. The second is the prolonged look, the one that lasts half a second longer than it should. Women who understand the power of their gaze use this as a weapon. This look is calculated. It's both an invitation and a test. If you back off, you lose value. If you rush in, you lose respect. The right response, calm confidence. Acknowledge the look, keep the energy alive, but don't act desperate or urgent. That's how you flip the game. She realizes she doesn't control you, and that triggers curiosity. The third type is the shy, evasive look, the one that seems like shyness, but actually isn't. Many times, it's her way of protecting what she feels. A woman who can't hold eye contact when you get close may be hiding desire, fear of looking vulnerable, or a powerful mix of both. When this kind of look appears, it always means something. It's never just a look. Machiavelli would also pay attention to the hands. A woman's hands are often the most honest sign of emotion. When she touches her own arm, neck, or hair while talking to you, she's dealing with her inner anxiety. And in the game of attraction, anxiety almost always comes from interest. If she felt nothing, there would be no tension. When she touches her neck, she is unconsciously revealing vulnerability. And vulnerability is one of the strongest signs of attraction. But when she crosses her arms, hides her hands, or locks her fingers together, she's signaling the need for control. This doesn't always mean rejection, but it does mean you need to be more subtle, more patient, and above all, not invasive. Distance is also a silent weapon. Women calculate personal space with precision. Moving just 2 centimeters closer may seem like nothing to you, but to her, it can mean a lot. When a woman allows you to enter her intimate space, anything closer than about 45 centimeters, it means she not only feels safe, but also that your presence doesn't feel threatening. But if she steps back every time you step forward, even while smiling, that is a defensive signal. She hasn't given permission yet, and if you keep pushing, you break the game. And then comes the most fascinating part, body silence. That moment when she stops talking, stops moving too much, becomes calm. Most men think this means disinterest, but actually, silence means processing. When a woman becomes quiet around you, when she listens more than she speaks, when she observes without rushing, she is evaluating. She's measuring your value. She's deciding who you are, whether you're a threat, an opportunity, or just another face in the crowd. And this is where the most powerful Machiavellian principle appears. Don't try to fill the silence. Silence is dominance. If you rush to talk, to entertain, to impress, you lose power. But if you stay calm, present, and comfortable in the silence, she feels something rare. Stability. And feminine stability creates trust. Trust creates openness. Openness creates emotional connection. And this is only the surface of the hidden secrets behind female body language. From a Machiavellian point of view, where nothing is random, and every small movement has a hidden intention. When you learn this silent language, you stop being controlled by words and start leading through behavior. There's one detail almost nobody notices, but Machiavelli would point it out instantly. To truly understand a woman's body language, you shouldn't only observe what she does, but especially what she avoids doing. Avoidance is a silent confession, deep, unconscious, and real. Many women, when they begin to feel something they're not ready to accept, try to hide their body. But the body always reacts before the mind. So when a woman looks away at the exact moment your eyes meet, it's not disinterest, it's intensity. She avoids looking because eye contact reveals too much, too soon. Something she wants to protect until you've proven you deserve access. This quick escape of the eyes is actually one of the strongest signs that you've entered her psychological space. Another Machiavellian detail is rhythm, the rhythm of her body. A woman's rhythm changes based on the emotional impact you have on her. If her breathing becomes slightly faster when you get close, if her chest movement becomes a little quicker, if she swallows before answering, all of this is physical proof that you've entered her emotional territory, and her body is trying to stabilize itself. Sometimes her voice becomes softer, shakier, or a little faster. These micro-reactions cannot be faked. A woman may lie with words, but her body cannot lie for very long. And if there's one behavior men misread the most, it's female restlessness. Machiavelli observed, where there is restlessness, there is hidden emotion. A woman who plays with her hair, fidgets with her fingers, adjusts her clothes, touches her shoulder or neck, she isn't uncomfortable with you. She's uncomfortable with what she feels. This is her body trying to release inner tension. And inner tension is almost always created by attraction. When a woman feels nothing, she is calm, neutral, controlled, cold. Lack of movement reveals as much as excess movement. But there's an even deeper layer, coherence with the environment. If a woman chooses to stand near you, even when there are many other places available, she's silently saying, "You're the focus." And if she positions herself so she can always see you, no matter where you are, that's watchful interest. She doesn't want to declare it, but she doesn't want to lose sight of you either. It's like she's saying, "I want to observe you without being noticed." Accidental touch also carries meaning. There are three main types: the approach touch, the testing touch, and the confirming touch. The approach touch is that light brush of the arms, that subtle contact when you pass close to each other, the kind that looks like coincidence, but rarely is. If she wanted to avoid touching you, she easily could. That's the Machiavellian point. The testing touch is more direct. She touches you briefly and watches your reaction. She wants to see if you lose composure, if you react too strongly, if you show neediness. But the confirming touch is different. This happens after you've already proven your value. It's when she touches your arm or shoulder in a way that quietly says, "I'm closer now, because I trust you." Then comes posture, one of the strongest signals of all. A woman standing tall with straight posture while talking to you is projecting control, independence, and emotional strength. But if she relaxes only when she's around you, that is silent vulnerability. And as Machiavelli would say, vulnerability is the opening through which one gains access to the castle. A woman who stays extremely rigid around you may simply be protecting something inside, afraid of looking too eager, too emotional, or out of control. Rigidity isn't rejection, it's self-protection. Movement is another critical clue. Notice whether she shifts her body toward you when you enter the room. Notice if she turns her torso in your direction, even while she's still talking to someone else. This is one of the most ignored and most powerful signs. Her body is saying what her mouth doesn't. You matter here. If she turns her body away, it's not always rejection. Sometimes it's fear of revealing too much. The difference lies in the other signals. If she turns away but still keeps looking at you, that's not distance. That's controlled restraint. And then there's the silent approach. Many women come closer without any obvious reason. Asking for small help, passing by more closely than needed, staying just within touching distance. That is pure invitation, a Machiavellian way of opening the door without saying a word. It's like her body is saying, "I won't ask, but I also won't stop you." And maybe the most important truth is this: A woman's body intensity is directly proportional to the psychological impact you have on her. Some women talk a lot, but their body speaks even louder. Others speak very little, but their body screams. Your role is simply to learn how to read the message. It's up to you to interpret not only what she shows, but also what she tries to hide. Female body language isn't a fixed manual, it's a game, silent, subtle, full of emotional layers and intuitive strategies. Those who truly observe win. Those who ignore the signs lose before they even begin. There's also a deeper psychological layer Machiavelli would highlight. A woman doesn't reveal her true feelings in the first reaction, but in the second. The first reaction is automatic. The second reaction is where the subconscious escapes. For example, when you say something surprising, whether it's a confident remark, a teasing comment, or a compliment, she first reacts in the expected social way. But right after that, the real meaning appears. A woman who smiles politely and then gently bites her lower lip is silently confessing interest. A woman who answers with a neutral, but briefly looks down before facing you again is showing emotional impact. It's the second gesture that reveals what she doesn't want to admit. Another Machiavellian way to read female body language is to watch how she behaves when she thinks she's not being observed. Most women carefully control posture, eye contact, even breathing when you're looking directly at them. But when you turn away, when she believes your attention is gone, her body relaxes. And that relaxation says everything. If she fixes her hair, adjusts her clothes, glances at you, or follows your movements when she thinks you're not watching, that is pure, unfiltered interest. No social mask. Machiavelli said, "The truth appears when the guard falls asleep." In women, the guard drops when they believe you're not looking. There is also the mirror effect. A woman who likes you often starts subtly copying your movements, crossing her legs after you do, adjusting her drink when you adjust yours, shifting posture right after you move. This happens because her body is trying to create connection. It's instinctive, not conscious. And this synchronicity is one of the deepest signs of psychological interest. If she starts mirroring you, even in small ways, it means you've entered her emotional behavior. But Machiavelli would also warn about defensive signals, because this is where many men get confused. A defensive woman is not always rejecting you. Often, she's protecting what she feels. Women who truly have no interest tend to be neutral, empty, with no emotional energy in their body. But women who are hiding interest often do the opposite. They cross their arms, avoid eye contact, act busy, answer too quickly, or exaggerate their emotional distance. This excess is revealing. Forced coldness usually means there's an inner battle between what she feels and what she doesn't want to show. The body builds barriers when the mind fears opening up too soon. If you look even deeper, you'll see how territory affects female body language. Every woman has a safe space, and if she lets you enter that space, it means something. If she places her bag between you, or keeps objects like a shield, she's building an emotional border. But if she moves the bag away, leaves the space between you open, or lets you sit close without pulling back, she's opening the territory. Symbolic, subtle, but as powerful as a verbal confession. Another Machiavellian point is understanding the female ritual of approach. Women rarely approach directly. They do it in circles, they move closer, then pull back, then get closer again, watching your behavior, the stability of your energy, and how you react. A woman who truly likes you will almost never come all the way in at once. She takes one step forward, watches, stays silent, watches again, asks a small question, and watches once more. This cycle is her silent way of measuring your emotional stability. If you respond with calm confidence, she moves closer. If you react with urgency, anxiety, or neediness, she pulls away. Her body acts like a radar for stability. And here lies Machiavelli's key insight. A woman's power is in her subtlety. Female signals are not loud, they're not obvious, they're not direct. They are small movements, small gestures, small openings. Those who see beyond the obvious always stay one step ahead. For example, when she exposes her neck by tilting her head slightly, that's vulnerability. When she turns her wrist upward while speaking, that's openness. When her shoulders relax when she hears your voice, that's trust beginning to form. These signals are ancient, almost primal, and they still exist today. There is also ambiguous behavior, the kind that confuses many men. Women who like you may sometimes act cold out of fear of seeming too easy, fear of falling too fast, fear that you'll lose interest if you realize she already likes you. This fake coldness isn't rejection, it's protection. You recognize it because it comes with contradictory micro-signals. She ignores you, but watches you when you look away. She pretends not to care, but her breathing changes when you get close. She says it means nothing, but her whole body shows tension. When behavior contradicts words, the truth is always in the body. Finally, there's the involuntary touch. When she touches you without realizing it. A light touch on your forearm while talking, a brief touch on your hand while laughing, a gentle tap on your shoulder to get your attention. These touches aren't planned, they're impulses. And impulses are the purest way feelings are revealed. Machiavelli always said, when you understand a person's impulses, they reveal more than 1,000 speeches ever could. A woman's body language is a silent game, where every gesture carries intention, every posture hides a code, and every glance is an encrypted message. Reading it is like accessing the most private side of the feminine mind, the things they don't say, but always show. There is one particularly Machiavellian truth that few men understand. Female body language doesn't just show interest, it's constantly testing you. Many women, even when they feel attraction, send mixed signals on purpose to measure a man's emotional strength, stability, and ability to stay grounded under pressure. For Machiavelli, true strength appears when someone faces uncertainty. And that's exactly what a woman does when she alternates between closeness and distance. She wants to see how you respond to not knowing. One of the most common tests is the shift between openness and withdrawal. She comes closer, smiles, lightly touches you, then suddenly crosses her arms, pulls back, or changes tone. Most men think this is rejection, but often, it's just a psychological test. She wants to know whether you rely on her validation, or whether your energy remains calm and stable despite the shift. Female body language has used this strategy for centuries. She gets closer to create connection, then steps back to observe your reaction. If you respond with insecurity, neediness, or frustration, she concludes you depend too much on her interest. But if you stay relaxed, natural, confident, she senses emotional strength, and her interest multiplies. Another Machiavellian test is controlled distance. Many women walk beside a man keeping a very specific distance. If you move closer and she gently pulls away, it's not always rejection, it's measurement. She wants to know whether you can understand her limits without her needing to say a word, whether you can read her body. If you respect the distance, she relaxes. If you keep invading it, she builds emotional walls. Distance is one of the most subtle weapons of female body language, and only the perceptive can read it. There's also the controlled gaze test. A woman who feels something for you may often look at you, then look away, again and again. But when she finally holds eye contact for a few seconds, that too is a test. She wants to see how you react. Do you sustain the gaze calmly, or do you break first, showing nervousness or emotional dependence? She wants to see if you lose yourself in her or remain centered. The man who holds eye contact calmly, without arrogance, transmits the exact combination that most deeply affects the feminine subconscious: strength and self-control. The man who looks away out of nervousness shows insecurity, and the man who stares too intensely, trying to prove something, shows neediness. Balance is the secret. Another very revealing test is partial attention. A woman who likes you, but doesn't want to fully show it yet, pretends to be distracted. She checks her phone, looks away while you speak, or acts like she's only half engaged. But look at her body. If her feet are pointed toward you, if her torso is slightly leaning your way, if she laughs even without looking directly at you, then the distraction is an act. She's testing your psychological strength. She wants to see if you stay grounded even when she doesn't give you 100% attention. Machiavelli would also highlight reaction speed. A woman who is interested reacts faster than she realizes. Notice this. When you say something bold, she smiles before trying to hide it. When you get closer, her body reacts before her mind catches up. That tiny delay between reaction and self-control is a goldmine. The faster the reaction, the stronger the emotional impact. Now to the deepest truth. A woman evaluates a man's emotional stability by observing his body stability. If your posture changes depending on her mood, if you relax when she shows interest, and tense up when she pulls back, she loses respect. Because that means your emotional state depends on her approval. But if you keep the same calm, confident posture, no matter what she does, this hits the female subconscious powerfully. It shows you are guided by your inner center, not by the tests she throws your way. Touch is also used as a test. Sometimes she touches you naturally, and later in the same conversation avoids touching you at all. This variation is intentional. She wants to see whether you treat the touch as a guarantee, whether you become unbalanced when she takes it away. True power belongs to the man whose energy doesn't change, whether he receives attention or loses it. The less your energy fluctuates, the more her interest grows. Another classic test is hidden emotional proximity. She comes close and speaks softly, then suddenly pulls away and changes tone. This is her way of testing how you handle intimacy. If you respond with maturity and calmness, she sees you can handle intensity. But if you act like it's something rare or overwhelming, you lose value. And perhaps the most Machiavellian test of all is this: female silence. A woman who likes you may suddenly go quiet around you, not because she has nothing to say, but to see how you handle the absence of stimulation. She wants to see whether you rush to fill every silence, whether you get nervous, whether you lose composure. The man who remains calm in silence controls the game. Silence is the battlefield where emotional control is fully revealed. And through all these tests, a woman continues to send real signals of interest, but only the perceptive man can separate what's genuine from what's strategic. Female body language is like a maze, where every gesture has two meanings, the obvious one and the hidden one. Those who see only the obvious get lost. Those who see the hidden truth rise above the game. There is something even deeper in female body language that Machiavelli would instantly understand. A woman's body doesn't just reveal attraction, it reveals intention. And intention is far more powerful than attraction. Attraction is temporary. Intention is strategic. A woman may find a man attractive and still not want anything with him. But when she shows intention, even subtly, even silently, her body sends signals that don't appear in any other emotional context. The first of these is physical anticipation. Watch how she reacts even before you speak. When she sees you approaching and her body already changes, her posture straightens, her breathing deepens, her eyes become more focused or more evasive. This means you already occupy space in her mind. Her body reacts before it even knows what you're going to say. This kind of preparation can't be faked. It comes from the subconscious. And the female subconscious is the most honest part of her. Another sign of intention is silent repositioning. This happens when she changes seats or shifts places without noticing, but somehow ends up closer to you. Or when she chooses to sit beside you, not because it was the only available spot, but because it offered the best chance for interaction. That is pure intention. And silent intention is more powerful than spoken intention, because it cannot be denied. There is also a classic gesture of emotional offering, the exposed wrist. Hardly anyone notices it, but when a woman leaves the inside of her arm visible, when she turns her wrist upward while speaking, when her hands stay open and relaxed, this is an ancient signal of vulnerability and trust. It's not random. It comes from deep emotional and social coding. An exposed wrist says, "I am opening my sensitive side." Women don't do this with just anyone. Another Machiavellian distinction is this: know the difference between curiosity and involvement. Curiosity shows in the eyes, quick, repeated, evaluating glances. But involvement takes over the whole body, constant leaning in, breathing that syncs with yours, small, accidental approaches that never truly are accidents. Curiosity wants information. Involvement wants presence, and most men never see the difference. Then comes one of the most subtle gestures of all, the retention micro-smile. It's not a full smile, too small for that, but too deep to be just politeness. It's the tiny smile she makes when she tries to hold something back, a thought, a feeling, an emotional reaction. That micro smile means you triggered something inside her. Machiavelli would say this kind of gesture reveals loyalty, even before a relationship exists. Another key sign appears before the meeting even happens. When a woman puts in just a little more effort to look good, simply because she knows she'll see you. When she fixes her hair the moment she notices you, even from far away. When she subtly checks her reflection to make sure everything looks right. That's her body saying, I care. This goes far beyond vanity. It's a ritual of preparation, her body wanting to present the best version of herself to you. This doesn't happen without deep intention. But perhaps the most fascinating thing is how her body reacts to your touch, even the smallest one. Machiavelli would understand the female body has different levels of response, from neutrality to deep emotional involvement. When she likes you, there are 3 very specific reactions. 1, the sweet hesitation. She doesn't pull away, but she doesn't fully lean in yet. She stays in that safe space where the touch isn't rejected, but it's still new, still delicate. 2, the active response. She touches you back, even if just for a fraction of a second. That touch confirms, accepts, and amplifies the connection. 3, the meaningful delay. She keeps the touch just a little longer than necessary. This is the most revealing sign of all. Her body doesn't want to let go. And the opposite is just as clear. A completely uninterested woman avoids touch from the very beginning. Always. No exceptions. If she touches you without realizing, if she doesn't pull away, if she lets you get close, that already is an answer. Female body language also changes when she feels silent admiration, a rare and powerful state. When a woman not only likes you, but admires you, her whole body softens. Her shoulders relax, her eyes become less defensive, her posture becomes gentler. It's as if her very presence beside you becomes softer. She doesn't do this on purpose. It's simply how the body reacts when someone affects her on a deeper level. And then there's the hardest, yet most revealing, sign of all. When she tries to look indifferent, but can't hide the emotional tension inside. You see it in her jaw, her fingers, her breathing. She wants to seem calm, but something gives her away. It's the woman who crosses her arms, but keeps her feet pointed toward you. The woman who says, I don't care, but the spark in her eyes tells another story. The woman who changes the subject, but her voice shifts when you speak. This inner conflict is absolute proof that you affect her more than she wants to admit. There's a phenomenon Machiavelli would analyze with total precision. A woman never shows everything she feels. She only shows what she believes is safe to reveal. And it's in the space between what she feels and what she shows that the real power lives. This hidden space is the secret territory of female body language, where gestures are more honest than words, and where you discover what truly happens inside her. One of the clearest signs of this hidden space is artificial posture control. When a woman is completely neutral about you, her body moves naturally, relaxed, effortless. But when she feels something she doesn't want to expose, desire, fear, admiration, attraction, her posture becomes too perfect. Her shoulders stiffen, her back becomes overly straight, her movements feel calculated, rehearsed. It's like she's acting out a controlled version of herself, so she doesn't reveal the truth inside. And that level of control is as revealing as a confession. Nobody tries that hard to hide from someone who doesn't matter. Another Machiavellian behavior is emotional displacement. This signal appears when a woman tries to redirect the intensity she feels for you toward other things. She plays with objects, checks her phone, adjusts her jewelry, smooths her hair, fixes her clothes, anything to avoid facing the emotional force of your presence directly. This is not disinterest. In fact, it's the opposite. It means there is so much emotion that she needs somewhere to hide it. Her body searches for little escapes to handle the inner pressure. There is also one of the most mysterious signals of all, the selective glance. A woman who likes you rarely holds eye contact immediately. Instead, she looks at you only at certain moments, when she thinks you won't notice or when she feels safe enough. It's that quick sideways look, brief but intense. A look that lasts less than half a second but holds 1,000 meanings. No one looks at someone that way, unless they matter. That glance is the body saying, "You affect me more than I want to admit." Another important sign is voice tone. A woman who feels something for you may start speaking in a slightly softer, lower, calmer voice, without realizing it. This happens because emotion changes breathing and rhythm. The voice simply follows the feeling. And unlike what many men think, she rarely chooses this tone on purpose. It just happens when she's emotionally open. Now pay attention to the feet and legs, perhaps the most honest part of female body language. There's a reason for this. Women are socially trained to control facial expressions, posture, and hand movements, but almost nobody consciously controls their feet. That's where the truth leaks out. If her feet are pointed toward you, even while she talks to someone else, that's already a clear sign that you are the focus. If her legs are crossed toward you, even stronger. If her foot subtly shifts in your direction while she speaks, that's not just interest, that's connection. Another powerful detail is how she reacts to hearing her own name in your voice. When a woman is even slightly interested, hearing you say her name triggers an instant physical response. A smile, raised eyebrows, softer eyes, or even a quick touch to her own face. Her name becomes an emotional trigger. Machiavelli would say, "A name is the key to psychological territory." And with women, this is especially true. When she likes you, her name, spoken by you, becomes almost like an invisible caress. There is also the signal of captured attention, when she watches your mouth instead of your eyes while you're speaking. This is one of the strongest signs in female body language. It means she's processing you in a different way. The mouth is associated with connection, intimacy, and desire, and she doesn't look at it without reason. This behavior is always loaded with hidden intention, even if she tries to deny it. Another Machiavellian insight is knowing when a woman is trying to appear colder than she really is. This happens when she holds back a smile, answers more dryly than she wants to, or avoids showing excitement. But watch the rest of her body. Her foot still points toward you. Her hand still touches her hair. Her eyes still shine. Her breathing still changes. When there's interest, verbal coldness never matches body language. And that's where the truth lives. One of the most fascinating signs is the gentle shoulder drop when you arrive. It seems small, insignificant, but it isn't. When she secretly feels something, her shoulders relax for just a second, as if her body whispers, "It's him." It's quick, subtle, unconscious, but incredibly revealing. Only someone who truly affects her creates that response. There is also the rare gesture of simultaneous head and body tilt, when she tilts her head while her torso leans slightly toward you. This is a blend of curiosity and vulnerability, and it almost never appears with a man who means nothing to her. It's one of the oldest signals of emotional openness in women, an ancient code that still survives. And finally, there's what Machiavelli would call silent emotional adaptation. When a woman naturally adjusts her tone, posture, rhythm, and even emotional energy to match yours. That is deep connection. That is physical surrender. That is the highest level of synchrony. And nobody reaches that level unless they feel something very real. There is an even more mysterious level of female body language, one only a truly observant mind can see. These are the signals she tries to hide even from herself. Emotional micro-reactions that appear before her mind understands what she's feeling. These are rare, deep signs, revealing interest that goes beyond logic. One of the first is the soft chin contraction when you appear. It's almost invisible, a tiny tremor or micro-movement of the chin. This happens when her body tries to reorganize the emotion quickly so it doesn't show. The mind hasn't processed anything yet, but the body already reacted. This only happens when someone triggers something strong inside her, attraction, interest, or a deeper admiration. Another powerful signal is the micro-lean of the body. She may be standing still, talking to someone else, but the moment you enter the room, her body tilts 1 or 2 degrees toward you, even if she isn't looking at you. Few signals are more honest than this. If her body orients itself toward you naturally, you exert an emotional pull on her, even if it's silent. There is also the brief breath interruption, when she takes a slightly deeper breath right after seeing you. It's not dramatic, just a subtle physical reset. The body breathes like this when it needs to handle a sudden emotional surge. This kind of reaction only happens in front of someone who affects her more than she wants to admit. Machiavelli would say, the body declares war before the mind even realizes a battle has begun. This is especially true when a woman tries to stay composed, but her body quietly reveals vulnerability. For example, when she tries to look indifferent, but her pupils widen the moment she sees you, something impossible to control. Dilated pupils mean interest, excitement, or emotional involvement. No woman who feels nothing keeps her eyes glowing when she looks at a man. Another sign is the speed of the smile. Polite smiles appear slowly, out of courtesy. But the emotional smile, the one born from real feeling, appears instantly. It flashes across her face in the same fraction of a second she sees you. Automatic, natural, impossible to hide. That is her body saying, my energy shifts when you arrive. And then comes one of the most fascinating contradictions of all, the mix of nervous tension and calm comfort. When she's near you, her body seems divided, half relaxed, half guarded. Her shoulders drop, but her fingers grip something. Her lips soften, but her leg moves. Her gaze warms, but her jaw tightens. This paradox is an emotional confession. It means she is involved, but not ready to fully surrender. A woman also reveals hidden interest when she begins to match your emotional rhythm. If you speak slowly, she slows down. If you get animated, so does she. It's an unconscious way of syncing with you. The body imitates what it admires, or wants connection with. Another unmistakable sign is deepened attention. Even when she pretends not to be fully engaged, she reacts instantly to everything you do. A movement, a pause, a change in your tone. Her body is hyper-attuned to you. She is more aware of you than anyone else in the room, even when she tries to hide it. Then there is the powerful signal of silent emotional projection. She laughs at things that aren't really that funny. She lights up at small details. Her face softens when you say even simple things. It's not exaggeration, it's her body saying that every small interaction with you triggers something emotional beyond logic. Women only react this way when a man affects them deeply. Another Machiavellian detail is how she touches her own face. This is an ancient gesture of vulnerability. When a woman is interested, she lightly touches her face, as if checking her own expression. It's the body trying to control emotion, while also enjoying the feeling of being emotionally open near you. It's almost a silent request for you to notice the effect you have on her. And then comes the deepest reaction of all, the energetic shift. This isn't a gesture, it's a transformation. When a woman truly likes you, the atmosphere around her changes. The way she moves, breathes, speaks, everything shifts. The emotional climate changes because your presence changes her internal state. Most men never notice this, but to the truly observant, it's impossible to miss. And finally, there is the supreme signal of female body language, the involuntary emotional gaze. It's that moment when she looks at you not as an observer, but as someone who feels. The look becomes warmer, deeper, less defensive. For a second, it's as if she's seeing something that touches her inner world. It lasts only a moment, but it reveals everything. No woman looks at a man that way, unless he truly matters. This is the deepest level, where the signals she tries to hide become stronger than the signals she tries to show. We now arrive at the final stage of female body language, the stage that, in a truly Machiavellian reading, appears when her body stops merely reacting to you and begins adapting itself to you. This is the rarest, deepest, least understood stage. It's when she is no longer just attracted. She is emotionally involved in a way she tries to hide even from herself. Machiavelli would say, when the body bows before the mind admits defeat, the outcome is already decided. And that's exactly what happens here. Her body begins acting as if you already belong inside her emotional world, even if she resists, even if she stays rational, even if she tries to deny it. The signals escape anyway, and they cannot be faked. The first is total emotional synchrony, far beyond simple mirroring. She adjusts her tone, rhythm, energy, even her micro-expressions to match yours. If you're serious, she softens. If you're relaxed, she relaxes. If you're excited, she matches your tempo. This isn't conscious. It's proof that her body has entered your emotional field. Another sign is the silent search for validation. not in words, but in micro glances. After every sentence she speaks, every joke, every comment, her eyes flick to your face for a split second, checking your reaction. This is rare. It happens only when you've become emotionally significant. Then comes the deeply revealing behavior of ritual proximity. She keeps finding subtle ways to be near you. Standing where you stand, passing close, choosing spots where you'll notice her. This is an ancient, wordless invitation. No woman invests effort approaching a man who means nothing. Another powerful signal is when she begins protecting her image in front of you. She adjusts her posture, fixes her hair, checks her clothes, moderates her tone, chooses her words. This isn't vanity, it's emotional concern. She wants to impress you, without looking like she's trying. Machiavelli would call this the perfect opening in the walls of someone's fortress. And finally, the most symbolic behavior of all, her body makes space for you. When she's sitting, she uncrosses her legs when she sees you. When she's in a group, she positions herself so you can easily come closer. When she's beside you, she slightly tilts her shoulder, creating the smallest, most comfortable space just for you. This is her body saying, there is a place for you here. No spoken gesture is stronger than that. Another defining sign is the lingering touch, even the smallest one. A woman may be shy, reserved, controlled, but when she's emotionally involved, she holds a touch half a second longer than necessary. And that tiny half second tells you everything. It's the body refusing to let go too quickly. Often it looks accidental, a touch on the arm, on the sleeve, a brief shoulder contact, but time always reveals the truth. Then there is the most intimate sign of all, the lowered guard. It's when she relaxes around you in a way she doesn't with others, when she laughs for real, sighs without noticing, speaks more softly or more honestly, when her presence around you feels peaceful, not tense, when she stops acting like a woman in front of a man and simply becomes herself. That is genuine emotional connection, and nothing reveals more than that. Another Machiavellian signal is silent jealousy. Even if she denies it, the body exposes her. She freezes for a second when another woman joins the conversation. Her chin lifts slightly, a subtle declaration of presence. She watches your reaction before responding. She tries to stay composed, but her eyes can't hide it. Silent jealousy is one of the strongest signs of emotional involvement. And then comes the final, deepest signal, the ultimate truth before emotional surrender, the prolonged gaze she cannot control. Not the shy glance, not the playful look, but the one that lasts longer than it should, the one she tries to hold, then breaks too quickly, as if she revealed too much. That gaze is an involuntary dive. It's the part of her that has already surrendered emotionally, even if the rest of her is still fighting for control. This is the peak of female body language, the moment when her body doesn't just react to you, it accepts you. It no longer matters if she denies it, hides it, or pretends to be rational. The body speaks, the body declares, the body reveals. And unlike words, the body never lies. To master this language is not manipulation. It is understanding what lies beneath the surface, reading what is alive, seeing what others cannot see. It is entering the secret territory of the female mind through the one door she can never fully guard, her own body.